This is the Redallover Show with me, Josh Everton, Andy Simcox, Alan Smith, and Craig Wood. And have we got an episode for you today? Three main things which we're going to be covering: last night's terrible 5-1 loss to 19th place League Two Bradford City, the FA Cup news which came out today, a couple of hours ago, that we have been kicked out of the FA Cup for fielding an illegible player. Something which a professional club, I'm pretty sure we're on a very, very short list of clubs that have been kicked out for something like that. And finally, previewing Lincoln City away. Let's get into it. So, after that long list of things, Andy, we'll start off with last night's Bristol Street Motors Trophy, also known as a Papa John's to those who are keen followers of name changes of competitions. A somewhat embarrassing 5-1 loss to a League Two side that it's one of them. You look at the side we put out and it was strongish, and that result should never have happened, really, should it?
Dear me, no, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. Let's be honest. From the first minute, we were even-handed until first goal. After it 1 minute 10 seconds, something like that. It was a shambles. It really was. I understand wanting to give, let's say, players on the periphery and younger players a chance, and that's fine because it were a dead rubber. Let's be honest, it were a dead game. It would have been nice to win because then we'd have had a home tie in the next round. As it is, we hadn't, but we're still through. But it's not just about the result or don't need the result. It felt to me like some lads were being hung out to dry in that. You know, we played young uns at the back that got bullied by strong, experienced strikers, and it showed, and players, and it showed in first minute and then 5 other times. I mean, flipping it tells you something. And I liked him as a footballer, but Clark Adore looked an aggressive player, experienced aggressive player that got under people, and he ain't. But that's how it looked. So we looked really weak in defence and always prone to miss it. And there was some shambolic defending. And truthfully, it don't matter if you're inexperienced, young or not. It was poor. It was really poor. Midfield, with a couple of players in midfield. Young Jorgen Nathan didn't have a particularly, well, he didn't have a good game at all, but he went alone. We're just going to pick him out because he went alone. I had high hopes for him for this game, but it didn't come to fruition. And up front, you know, I expected more of Sam Cosgrove. I expected more of him. And Aidan didn't have a great game. Aidan Marsh played up front with me. He didn't have a great game either. So I think throughout the side, we looked weak, pappy. Babbies, we looked like babbies playing in a men's game. We looked like under 15s. It weren't good. It weren't good and it weren't good enough. You know, whatever we do, I could cope if somebody told me we're just getting young uns a run out and some peripheral. But it don't really matter this. I don't think they could say that. But it don't really matter this. But to say that we're going to go after winning it. We're up for winning it. It were a fiasco. It were absolute fiasco. Goal after goal. I can't really send him all the way out because naming. I mean, it shows you something when Barry Cotter comes on as a striker, and my brother Howard has been saying get him on as a striker, and Barry Cotter looked dangerous and scored a good goal. He looked like somebody that were going to change the world, and it's not the Barry Cotter we know. Maybe it's when he's not out in touchline. It don't matter if he lets ball go. It don't go out to play if he's at middle of pitch. So he looked all right when he came on as a striker, Barry. Put his centre back and went straight at him. So for me, that was the only positive that came out of it. Not for the team, but for my brother, because he wanted back to see Barry Cotter as a striker. We got to remember that there were only there were only 3 players that started last night that started against Horsham. There were only Jack Shepherd, who didn't have a good game at all. He usually is good getting it down the touchline, and that weren't particularly good. But that don't mean he's a bad player. It means it were a bad performance on the night. The goalkeeper, Killip, made a couple of good saves, and some I don't know. And I suppose the only other bright spark. Warwick centre of midfield where Luke O'Connell, got some more minutes and looked like you're having a running battle with one of their midfield players. I know that. I think their midfield player were lucky to stay on pitch, to be frank, with some of it. But generally, whatever team you put out, however you set it up, that weren't good enough.
Ali, it's one of them. Obviously, you mentioned before, Graham Alexander's just come in at Bradford, so he's not really going to rotate his side too much. He's still going to be trying to find his best 11, and it's almost a free hit from Bradford's perspective of trying first team players in those positions. So you can see they've gone a bit stronger, but it's one of them from our perspective of, yeah, we might have weakened the side and rotated it, bringing them peripheral players, but given that there is more than a full league between us and them in league standings, we can't be shipping 5 goals.
Not from first minute, is it? We gave it to them, and all goals seemed to come up at top and behind defence. And back three were horrendous last night. For me, only captain Luca, he was in midfield, putting ball about, trying to find players. But I mean, the one point there where it went up to Cosgrove and he passed it back. His touch were like Coles were last season. I don't understand it. And you want to decide to go out there, irrespective of how poor they were, to put on a show and try. And it's one of the worst games I've seen since I've started following Barnsley, 1959-60 season. There were no commitment. There were nothing there. It were just every time Bradford were going and attacking or moving forward, you thought it's another goal, it's another goal, it's another goal. And I said on last show that they came back from 4-0 down to 4-2 at Notts County. I said they'd be up for it, didn't I? And they were up for this one, definitely. And no team who went down 4-0 on Saturday should be allowed to come and get 5 goals, irrespective of who they're playing at. The cut through was like cutting through a knife on butter. And I feel for yet again for our fans who turned up over 600. And yeah, what are you expecting? I mean, we've got to be better than that. We've got to be more competitive, irrespective of, you said it were a rubber sort of a game that we were through, and people saying, "Oh, we didn't want to win it because we're better off playing away." No, you go out to win football matches. End of. And fans want to see teams. It were men against boys, put it like that, and it showed how poor our lads are, and it shows for me strength and depth of our squad. We've got to sort it out in January window for me in all areas. And one thing I did pick up is Killy, I think he's led in about 20 goals. And before Roberts got injured, he'd conceded, I think, 11. So there's a big difference there in goals conceded. But that might not be to him. It's defensive as well, errors.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one in a way of putting it. I mean, I won't put obviously all them goals down to kill it, but it's a factor. Obviously, they've the back three as well have got used to playing with Liam Roberts behind him, and it's a little bit of a change for them as well. Craig, Al made a good point there of you expect the side to go out and be competitive. And obviously, it's one of them where it's not a good advert for the fans. They've they've spent their time and money to go and follow us and to put on at least. I mean, you don't mind losing, but the manner of the defeat is the worst part about last night.
Yeah, well, absolutely shocking performance. One of the worst I've ever seen as a Barnsley fan. I lay it all at Colin's feet. I think it is. There's something fundamentally wrong about his coaching, because there's no way that a back three can perform that bad and call themselves professional football players. And I'm not having this case that we had a lot of young players out there. We had a lot of experience too. We had the likes of Jack Shepherd, who's played in the first team and looked well. And we had Conor McCarthy, who was a professional that's been here for 2 years. He's coming back from injury, but his brain wasn't injured, was it? So you got Cosgrove, who's up front, who looks like he can't be bothered half of the time. Luke O'Connell looks like he's getting so frustrated on that pitch. He's only just come back into team. And to be honest, I blame Collins for it all, because I just don't get what we are trying to do. We're playing a high line with no press. So basically what that means is we're just leaving the opposition defenders time to control the ball, take it down, and pick where they want to put it. Whether they want to put it over the top of our high line or they want to pass it through us. Either way, they're getting towards our goal, and we're not stopping them. I'm fuming. I'm so mad. I get that we're dead. That it didn't really matter, but it did to us, the fans. It did, because it's Bradford. It's a Yorkshire rival. I mean, it means it might not mean nothing to the owners, might not mean nothing to the coach, but to the fans and the people that matter, it does. And last night were a shocking performance. And are any of them players that played in that game can say that they did their all in that game? Oh man, I'm so mad. And I said it a few shows ago. We're going to drop like a stone because we've lost Roberts. And obviously, with Devante not being on it, I said we had overperforming players bumping our stats in the league. And once that starts to even out, we're going to start losing to teams that we shouldn't lose against. And I just don't think our coach is up to it. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's got the respect of the players. I don't think he's got the wherewithal to bring them back from, in a mentality way, turn them from a losing team to a winning team. I don't think he's that sort of man. So I'm just counting down days now till he goes. Personally, there's no excuse.
I don't want to get into the Collins debate today.
I know. Before you said you didn't want to,
we've already got a massive wad of things to get through, and we'll touch on the Collins stuff in a later show, ideally. But I do think I can see both sides of it in terms of the performances aren't great, but there's a lot of context behind what's happened from anyone that compares Michael Duff to Collins. It's completely different. Duff came into a side where he got Kitchen, Mads, and a new centre half, because at one point it was Tom Edwards when they came up, Bobby Thomas. It swapped and it got the continuity. You got Irby Kane, who'd been here had been with the club for that time. You got the back three that were more or less sort of Brad Collins behind them, and Jordan Williams in that sort of
going on to owners, don't you worry about
that. In that defensive unit, which Michael Duff got to take on. He got to take on a strong spine of a team, whereas I think Collins he's not had that stability. And whilst I appreciate the performance aren't good, there's a lot of context around it, which is why we won't be touching on it too much today. But don't worry, we will be speaking.
Can I just say though,
about Collins
a
in
good
the future.
coach can make bad players play well. I mean,
fair point, but we've had
organising a shape is not hard.
Haven't we? As well as changing back three, haven't we? We've lost a keeper who were performing highly. We've lost another defender, haven't we? Lapata.
Listen, there's two really difficult games.
Then you don't play with three centre-backs if you haven't got three good centre-backs. But he's been
recruited to play that formation, and the team is stacked and developed and built to play this way. We don't have any wingers at the club, so in terms of changing shape, it's like, what do you want to do? Pack centre at pitch with midfielders and play a four at back, and then just pack midfield with three centre midfielders. It's fundamentally and structurally developed to play three at the back.
We're going to have plenty of time to talk about this. We've got a difficult game away to Lincoln on Saturday, and the following Tuesday we're at home to Wickham. Two really, really difficult games, and I think they'll make a big difference to the debate. It'll give more grist to the mill in one respect, or it might alleviate it a bit in the other way. So I think you're right, Josh. I think
watch this space.
We're going to have plenty of time. Plenty of time to talk about this after the next two games. I know that.
Unless Carlisle gets
I said it got till end of November, and this is how I feel midway through. So get ready for 1st of December.
Look, it's driving me to drink.
I would love it if we come out of Wickham and Lincoln battering both 4-0 with fantastic performances, because that would it just make it interesting and a better debate. I think that just about rounds off Bradford, I reckon. Now into other news, and a little bit of a shock for us all today, as we found out that Barnsley have in fact been kicked out of the FA Cup. A professional side.
We're bad boys, aren't we? Bad boys.
A professional side has been kicked out. So I assume Sutton now get a bye into the third round.
No, they're playing Horsham.
That's good. That's good to see the Horsham have gone through.
Horsham have been given the tie.
That's good. I feel that's a fair way to do it. I did feel like the FA would have gone the other way though and just given Sutton a bye, which is good to see that Horsham have got the opportunity to make their way into the third round. But Andy, it's one of those for me where it's a basic. Clubs up and down the country, all the way down to Sunday League, have to do this in terms of players being ineligible to play in competitions. And also, when the team news was announced, people are commenting on Twitter saying, how's Aidan Marsh eligible? We think it's Aidan Marsh who's the one that was ineligible.
It is, because he came back, he wasn't available.
No, but I'm just saying it's not been confirmed yet who the player is. So it's still somewhat speculation around it. But I assume it's Aidan Marsh with fans pointing out. But it's one of those, Andy, where we're a professional club. These things just shouldn't happen.
If it is Aidan, it's because at the time of the first game against Horsham, he was on loan to York City, so he shouldn't. So he wasn't. He wouldn't be eligible for the second game. And yes, it's a professional club, and it's crikey, I'm just getting sick of saying this. It's another fiasco. Good grief. The West Stand fiasco. God dear me. I'll not mention. No, I will mention Fanatics fiasco, because for me personally, that's still ongoing. But I'll save that for another show and all.
Have a drink, Andy.
I've flipping finished it. I'll have a rant about that at another show, because that's still a fiasco. I can't get my head around it. It's and then this. What I don't understand is, if it's Aidan, it looks like, according to reports, that at the start of this week or two, then we brought him back specifically to play in this game. If that's the case, because we got players, like Devante away on international duty and what have you, so we actually brought him back. So nobody at the club, but in fairness as well, I'm not going to be too fair to the club, because it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, that there is nobody from Khaled downwards can't get their head around that if somebody's eligible or not eligible. Like you said, Sunday morning, kids football, they have to look at the pictures and see if they've signed and see if they're registered. We signed for him to go on loan to keep saying Bradford City. Last night it's got to me. You see, a black background, black shirt, because I'm in mourning. That's how bad it's been. York City. How can we not know? But I'll also say this. I didn't know. Aidan's picked. I didn't give it a thought. But I don't think there'll be any supporters gave it a thought until today. Then you think, wow. I didn't know that was a rule, but it clearly was. And somebody within the football club should have known that. We didn't either. None of us. I don't know of any fans that flagged it up, but it shouldn't be down to fans to flag it up anyway. We're a professional football club, and this level of you can say it's an honest. I'll tell you what I get fed up with. And it's in all walks of life. It's not just in football. I get fed up with people saying that we've done a thorough, deep investigation, and we've sorted it out. We've looked at it, we've identified it, and we've put strategies in place for it not to happen again. Every walk of life says that. And it's like a mantra. We've got strategies in place so it won't happen again. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. There should be no strategy put in place to ensure this doesn't happen again. It shouldn't happen in the first place. It's fundamentally ridiculous that we've had to sign, if it's Aidan, sign his registration to York City, not Bradford City, to York City, and then we don't know what difference it makes. And I know he didn't play for York in a cup competition or like that. I don't get why we can be so, let's be truthful, incompetent in doing that.
FA rules state all players must have been eligible to play the original tie in order to play in replays, postponed matches. However, a player who has been suspended according to the disciplinary procedures under the rules of association may play in postponed or replayed match after the term of his suspension has expired. That's the
So
FA.
basically,
Yeah,
because
that's right, though, Al.
because
But did you know that at 10 o'clock this morning?
Rule of the FA.
Did you know it at 10 o'clock this morning, Al? Because I didn't.
I looked at the rules and the regulations and spotted it.
But we didn't know at 10 o'clock this morning, Al, did we? I've not looked at any regulations that said if it's Aiden that he's not eligible to play, but the club should have. So, you know, we might be incompetent because now we know because we've looked it up and read it, but the club should have already known. So, yeah, it's insanely pathetic. Anyway, I'm all right now. Bradford City. Oh, did we win? Can't remember. But this, oh my good grief.
What a couple of days at Oakwell.
Keep breathing, Al.
Jokwell.
You were kicking off last night, Al, and this morning. Come on, let's see your kick off, Al. You
I
have a
know,
rant, Al.
ITV calendars, Alan Smith.
Come on, Al. You were kicking
Look,
off.
I got red all over on there. You know, we got a bit of advertisement. Just trust me. The brand went out there on national TV.
I didn't see it.
Oh, he did. You're joking. You didn't see it. He copied it and put it all over.
It's everywhere.
Place.
It's everywhere.
Alan's put it everywhere.
New game of Alan Bingo.
I turned PC on and I can see it on Twitter. I turned telly on and he's on there and all. I said, and now I've just joined this chat and bleeding Alan Smith's here again.
Well, I switched it on and I thought you're doing a Red All Over show without me. And I thought, no, it's only Alan.
Craig, you were trying to say something there mid-Andy rant.
Sorry, Craig.
What were you trying to say?
Well, I was saying because Marshall went on loan at York City during the first match we played against Horsham, then he automatically became ineligible for the second leg of that tie. So that's the reason why we've been kicked out. And like we discussed before, with been able to pay some compensation to Horsham to keep us in the cup, like Liverpool did a few seasons back. But there's no way we're going to pay any money to anybody to keep us in any competition. So, but the absolute incompetence is glaring. People can say, "Oh, you didn't know this before." It's not my job to know. It's my club's job to know, and they didn't. And for me, the absolute lack of knowledge is. I mean, this club. Why is it always this club that has to make an absolute fool of itself every time? Why is it never Leeds? Oh well, Sheffield's making a move of theirs in their own way. We're not as bad as them, not yet. Not yet. We're not as bad as them just yet, but we're not far off. And I'm just getting really annoyed from top to bottom with this club because the incompetence, the unprofessionalism, the absolute lack of knowledge from top to bottom is frustrating to me. Because at the minute, it just looks like we're being run by an absolute bunch of people who haven't got a clue what they're doing. And it's just annoying. It really is annoying.
It is, like you say, it is annoying and unacceptable, to be fair. But, I mean, I looked on Twitter earlier and there were fans in the comments of the team sheet for the Horsham replay who said, is Aidan Marsh available to play because of his loan to York? And it's just one of them things where if there's someone who is not close to the sport in terms of making them decisions and informing people of them things, then why isn't there? Because I know Khalid's mentioned previous, about all these processes in place to build the infrastructure within the club to allow it to be self-sufficient regardless of who's in post in certain positions. It just feels like that falls down when things like this happen, and doesn't it? When we've had obviously the number of fiascos of Fanatics, Hex, West End closure, and now this. It always compounds things. But I will say in respect to that, at least it gives us something to talk about on the podcast. So maybe that's why they're doing it.
That's something to talk about. Good things to do with football and when we're rubbish on pitch and when we're good on pitch. I don't remember us starting this show so that we could talk about all this nonsense. It should be about the flipping football, but it don't seem to be, Al, does it?
It's basics of running a football club. Your administration, your paperwork is the basics of a football team, whether it's professional, amateur, Sunday league. Your paperwork has to be correct. And why somebody at our club hasn't picked that up is beyond me. You
I
know,
find-
under Michael Spink, see what club secretary. A club secretary deals with all the paperwork and all the registrations and ensures all the regulations and rules are being followed. What's happening in our club? Haven't we got a club secretary to adhere to this? Where are we at? And our fans who travel to Horsham and spent all their hard-earned money, had a day off work, what about them? I mean, they've nothing to show for it except a night out in Horsham. They ain't got a second leg to go to. And some of our fans have already booked tickets to go down to London for the Sutton game. Now, that is poor. That is really poor. And I feel for these who's got the tickets and not going to get a refund on them. It's wrong. Sorry, rant over.
No, I agree. I agree with that completely. But my one thing is, why is it taking the FA so long to pull that up? Because obviously, I'm assuming all this paperwork does go via the FA at some point, and especially given that there weren't many games on.
Because they're as incompetent as we are.
That's fairs.
I'm not lying. They are.
That's like there's two bodies there, which you've mentioned, Olive, the club itself and the FA, who this could have been addressed sooner to stop things like that happening. For fans, because now there are people who probably bought train tickets, hotels potentially as well, for the Sutton game, who are now being affected, and for what, in regards of why between them two bodies has it taken? When do we play Horsham? A week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Week ago.
Last Tuesday, 14th.
So 8 days ago, and it took 8 days for that decision to come. It's the whole thing. Just the only people that are suffering it the most are the fans, which is just so wrong.
Have you heard the recurring theme though? It's always the fans that suffer.
It always is with football. It's never anyone else that suffers.
The club aren't going to come out of it with clover. I mean, we could very easily have lost to Sutton United, but if we hadn't, just say we'd have booked the trend and actually won. Look at the money we've chucked away. Look at the amount of money we've chucked away through incompetence.
It's a lot of money. Every round you get more revenue from it, don't you? And you know, that's the miss. I mean, yeah, we've lost out as fans, money in his pockets, and we've lost. Yeah, you've seen the game, but you've not gone through to the second round, and it's a big loss to our football club. Yeah, we got 25,000 being on TV, but it's nothing compared to what we could have got by keep progressing.
I'm just waiting for January when we don't sign anybody, and they're like, "Oh well, we didn't get that FA Cup money we were expecting."
That'll be. They'll not be able to do that.
I wonder if that would have projected on spreadsheet on accounts. We got a projection of revenue.
You just know for a fact as well that Sutton and Horsham are going to pull Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, United. It's going to be one of them to draw at home as well. So there'll be some lost revenue there as well, should we have gone through.
Well, I mean, no disrespect at all to Sutton United, but I hope Horsham go through and they play away to somewhere like Manchester United, because they'll get a lot. They'll get the money that we could have done with, but they'll get a lot of money that they could do with. So, I sincerely hope it's something like.
Well, we're all right, Andy.
Like
Great.
Two unrelardy lads. I'll be following them, won't we?
We can't lose, Al, can we?
On 2nd of December against Sutton.
You want me to? I've had some. I don't know if this is the right time to do it or not, Josh. I'll tell you if your phone works. I've had a couple of iPhones. I've had a number of emails, and I'll give some news. Some emails from our mate Mark Wells, who's a historian for Horsham. He were on the away and shows twice, and he's also the programme fixer-upper, the programme creator, does the match day programmes, which incidentally, and I'll just say this, and it's me and Tom Webster, I keep telling you that I'm a soothsayer. We ordered 3 Horsham versus Barnsley programmes, and Mark has got them signed by the Horsham players and is sending them to us because Tom wants to have one of them as a prize for our Christmas do on the is it the 8th of December? Friday, 8th of December. He wants is it Friday? Whatever date it is, 8th of December. He wants it at the Oaks. He wants it to be a prize. Well, they could be collector's items. They could be absolute. we've won that team. The Horsham teams have signed it for us, and the game, it's the match day programme for the match that we got kicked out of the FA Cup. Previous cup winners, 1912, I know, but previous cup winners kicked out the competition, and we've got a signed programme. So, we could make a right load of money. So I'll tell you this much. This is what Mark said, bless him. This is what he said. He said a few things. He started off because this, disappointing, not half mark, disappointing result for you guys last night, even though it was the EFL trophy. Hopefully you're saving yourselves for Lincoln on Saturday. They scraped a 1-0 league win against Margate last night, so they're still going strong, Al. Our Arm is still going strong, but the crowd were 5 times lower than happened against us. He just wanted to let us know that he's got the programme signed and he's going to get them to me. Then he got me someone saying, importantly, I assume you've heard the news. Well, I had, Mark. I had. Importantly, what a disaster. Obviously, we're elated at being reinstated, but there's a hollow feeling that it has come through presumably a genuine mistake. It'll be devastating news for all Barnsley supporters, I'm sure, and you have my sympathies. Yes, yeah, obviously, Mark. Obviously, he wonders if we'll lodge an appeal. I don't think we are. So all I would say to Mark, both for the
appeal means you have a defence. We ain't got a defence.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they could appeal at appeal about the punishment. Does the punishment fit the crime? But I think it's all sorted out. So he sends our sympathies. So his sympathies. So and he's asked me to say it on behalf of Horsham fans as well, that that they're obviously elated, but also sad that a team that they've started to follow as well, which is us, it's been at our expense. So, but that's how it is. So, thank you, Mark, and all our fellow Lardy Armies, Al.
Lardy Army, we're all right, Andy. We can start cheering.
Good luck in the next round, lads.
Yeah, good luck to Horsham against Sutton United in the second round of the FA Cup. Right, last order of business. Saturday, we are away at the LNER Stadium against Lincoln City. I'll pull up the stat sheets now. So, manager who has just been reinstated. It's Leeds. Is it assistant manager? I want to say, or former assistant manager, Michael Skubala has just taken position there. Top scorer Lasse Sorensen with 4, sat 9th in the league. Form patchy, win, loss, draw. And formation which they play is a 3-4-3, which came courtesy of Andy's away end. But look out for that because we'll be giving no spoilers away, seeing as you know through the influencing lifestyle.
It's with Jake Tong, who's a lifelong Lincoln City fan. He used to do their podcast. He now left at the end of last season. He's now on the co-host of the looks at all League One. So it's that League One show. So it's that's worth looking at, and he's a grand lad. Me and Alan's come across him a few times. I've certainly come across him a few times on Gabriel Sutton's EFL debate, and we've always had a good laugh. So there's, despite last night's result and this morning's debacle news, I tried to line it up a little bit because I know that this were going to be a fun show. So I tried to make that a bit lighter, and there's some. I think there's some good moments. He's a smashing guy, and he wanted me to say that him and the rest of the guys wanted to say. So I hope he's watching. Wanted to say that to give our best wishes to Joe Beardshall. So I hope you watch this, Joe, because they're all sending their best to you. Yes, and he's told me a few things about them. Yeah, he's only had 2 matches. Scoobs. It's easier to say than Scubala. Scoobs. He's only had a couple of games. He lost 1 and he won 1. Won last night away to Orient, where 89th minute winner. So good luck to him. He's told me a few things about their players who'll go down in the penalty area, who'll stick on their feet, who are good lads, who are worth watching, who they're going to be missing. So it'll be it's an interesting watch. My worry is that if they win, they'll go above us. They're 1 point behind us. They played 2 matches more, but they're 1 point behind us. Oh, there you go.
It's a tricky side we've come up against previously. Alan, into obviously last season, did we lose or draw away towards the back end of the season? I thought we definitely
It was April when we played them, and sadly we lost Anton Roberts after the game. Bless him, a Barnsley fan, and I've had a message from his family asking to read out that everything is sorted for Lincoln City on Saturday. They have put a brick in their memorial wall for Anton, free of charge, and we will meeting us at the ground. We are going to lay a wreath, and a helium balloon will be let into the sky. Can all Barnsley fans sing the plant pot song because it was Anton's favourite? And I'm bringing a plant pot for her granty. And Sandra, his sister, spoken to Lincoln, and everything is sorted. So let's do it for Anton.
Yeah, it's a fantastic gesture that from the Lincoln City club as a whole for doing that for Anton. So just a big thanks really to Lincoln City for being so hospitable and aware of the situation to help and support through that. Craig, footballing wise, it's going to be a tricky one, I think, against Lincoln because we seem to struggle against them last season. They seem like one of those sides that we can never get one over on them or really get a grasp of them.
Yeah, they're a difficult opponent. They're a mid-table team, and as we know in this league, mid-table teams tend to be they can show up one game and not show up another. But they always seem to show up against us a lot of times. They're going to be dogged. Like you said, they play a 3-4-3. They've only won one in the last 5, so they're going to be raging for a win. They're playing at home as well. They've conceded 8 goals in 6 games at home. So really, they don't concede many goals. They don't score many goals. They've got Adam Jackson, Paddy O'Connor at centre back. 2 players that I wanted Adam Jackson to stay with us. I'm not going to lie about that. Got Teddy Bishop up top. So they've got a lot of really good players that have played at this level for a long time. And the question is, do I think that we're going to be ready for them? And I think with players we've got at the minute and the way we're playing at the minute, no, I don't think we are. I don't think we can match them for. I think we're as good as. I think we're better than them technically. I think we're better than them on our day, but I think we're so far away from our day. I think we're poor. We're really poor positionally. I think we're going to get torn apart if his defence plays out like it did against Bradford. It's going to get even worse. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm not looking forward to this at all.
I think just on that though, it's going to be a very altered team in which we do play and into compared to what we had at Bradford. Obviously, Craig touched on there the back three, but I'd imagine it'll be more or less a fresh back three with McCart probably coming back in, MDG coming back in as well, Jordan Williams back at right wing back more than likely, or centre half. It's going to be a mixed side from that Bradford team, and as Craig said there, they'll have the bit between the teeth to try and sort of correct their recent form. I think we definitely need to start doing the same as well.
We absolutely do after the mess of it that we made at Derby. I just don't know, and it's going to be a lot of different players. We know that come Saturday, as you've said, but I don't know what effect getting kicked out of the FA Cup, the oldest cup competition in the world. We don't know what effect that's going to have on players. It's cheesy. If I said cheesing us off on this show, that's the politest way I can put it. I can't think of another way to describe it. I'll try when we're off air. So it must cheese players off that also want to play against the best players, which means getting through to the next round or what have you. So it could have a huge effect. And let's not forget, we've still got some EFL charges to come yet. And I don't think we're the top of the EFL's Christmas card list of who they're going to send them to. But Lincoln, they are going to be up for it. Are we going to be up for it? They've got Erahan in midfield, who's a tidy. He's getting a lot of plaudits. Tidy midfield player. They've scored 21 goals in 18 games, so they're not got prolifically scorers of goals. Ben House is injured, and you need to watch the away end. He's going to be. I'll plug it again. It's all I've got, Josh. It's all I've got. But they don't concede. They don't concede many either. Their top scorers, they've got 3 top scorers who've only scored 3 goals. One of which is Sorensen, who's playing at right. He's a midfield player. He's been playing at right wing back. But they've had 14 different scorers. So although their top scorer has only got 3, 3 of them have got 3. They've got 14 different scorers. So, does it matter if you haven't got somebody who's scored 15 goals so far, or 11, like Devante, if you've got them coming from all over the place? So I'm not too worried about that. Apart from it's going to be a close, tough game. They don't give much away. They don't score many, but they don't give much away either. So they took us apart at all last season. But some players are not. Either no longer there. Jack Diamond's no longer there, and Ben House were really rated. He's injured and will not be back until they think, according to Jake, they'll not be back until maybe February or something like that. He's had an operation, so that could be a bit. They're not badly supported. They tend to get between 7,000 and 8,000 crowds at home. They got more than that. I think they got 10,000 or 10,000 odd against in a match cup match against West Ham United, but mainly it's between 7,000 and 8,000. So the crowds aren't quite as big as ours, but who knows this time next season the way it's going. So tough game. It's going to be. It's all good. We've got the skill. The players that can come in. We've got players that can do it and that can win games and play decent football. If we set up right, they will press us. They did it last year, and they've still got a pressing mentality. They've got 2 number 10s that go at it. They will press us. They get forward quick and they'll press us. It all depends how we decide to play.
That's what I'm saying. It's all about mentality, and
it absolutely is.
Like you said, they're relentless pressers. Our players get bored of pressing. I see us go hell for leather for the first 10 minutes and then just forget about it after it. And that's where managers should come in.
It's going to be an interesting show, and if we're doing one on Sunday morning as a review show, that'll be interesting, depending what happens.
And we can preview as well.
And we can preview, but looking forward to that.
Spoiler for what's coming up. I think Andy's touched on
the away end's already there, Josh.
Andy's touched on a little point there that I think can probably be addressed, in that there is some solace I think we can take from this Bradford result, in that most of the side that played in that Bradford game probably won't feature on Saturday in the starting capacity, and also we've got the international players coming back who probably somewhat to their benefit of not being actually around the club during the last couple of results as well. Do you think that'll have a positive impact in the way of obviously having Devante coming back in, John Russell coming back in for a little bit more depth in that position as well? We've got Luca getting closer to being match fit for league duties. And then obviously we've got the return of more first team players and senior players coming back in on Saturday to weigh in our favour.
You would hope so, wouldn't you? They've got to put that Derby result behind them, haven't they? And go out and put a show on at Sincil Bank. I mean, last night, what I've read, it was a dour game at Leyton Orient, and Ethan Hamilton scored in 89th minute. Now, they got 3 points at Leyton Orient, and we only got a draw. So in context,
I can tell you, Al, I'll give you a spoiler, Al. What I can tell you is that Ethan Hamilton is suspended, so will not be playing on Saturday for him. So their goal scorer is not playing against us.
Thank you for that information. So we stand a chance.
Stats.
But stand a chance. But they've got to have fight in the bellies. They've got to perform. They've got to, as Craig says, we've got to press more. We've got to put on a team performance rather than individuals having off days. And with what's happened this week, it's imperative, and I mean it's imperative, that they put a performance on for a sell-out Barnsley crowd. We've sold all our tickets out, and we're all going to be behind them at Sincil Bank. So they've got to come and get 3 points. Anything less than 3 points for me is not good enough.
Is Sincil Bank the old name of Lincoln's ground? Okay, I assume so.
It's still Sincil Bank to me and Al. Sincil Bank to me and Al.
Thanks, sorry.
I was just checking to make sure that when I said LNER, I was correct after.
The LNER is right, but I like Sinsel Bank. Sorry.
I was
we
just
will.
making sure. I was making sure after Steve Cottrellgate for Shrewsbury a few weeks ago, after we all said Steve Cottrell's in charge of Shrewsbury, and Tracy corrected us and went, no, he ain't.
While we're talking, I'm disappointed in you three for this show.
Good.
Wales being kicked out of the FA Cup. I'm gobsmacked that not one of you have said it's a good thing we can concentrate on the league now.
Oh,
What's
priorities.
wrong with you? Why
Priorities.
one of you said it?
No,
We can concentrate on the league.
No, not the league. We're concentrating now because we got an away tie in the Motors Trophy, haven't we?
Bristol
Street
Street Motors.
That does take precedence over FA Cup.
Johnson's Paint Trophy, Al. We're old money, me and you, Al. Johnson's Paint Trophy.
Craig, what's your prediction then for Saturday's game?
Craig,
2-1 loss.
Got you frozen, Josh, for a minute. You're thinking.
Yeah,
Craig thinking. That's a first.
Hey, don't start on Craig.
That's why it took so long. Cogswell.
He's a fan's favourite. He's a viewer's favourite, Craig. Don't pick on him, Al.
Because
just
the fan is wanting it to
Al.
go 3-0 win, but I just don't believe we're going to win. I can't see us doing it.
Andy?
2-2.
Oh, Desmond. And Al.
I knew you'd said that. That's why I said it. I just wanted you to say it.
I've said anything than 3 points is not good enough. I'm sorry. I can't see us winning 1-1.
Get off that fence, you two. You'll get splinters.
Is that half a Desmond, Joe? Josh, is that half a Desmond? I've no idea. I've lost it now, Al. I don't know.
I'm sick of you.
I'm in mourning, Al. I'm wearing black, Al. I'm in mourning.
You're all bringing this show down. You know, we used to be the voice of happiness round here, and we've got a loss, 2 draws, and seeing as I'm assuming I'm still top at May League, I can't imagine many people went for
nobody went 5-1. There were 5 people. I'm not going to name them because they're wrong uns. There were 5 people that said Bradford City would win. I can't bring
as long as anyone joint on points for me, I'm going to assume I'm still top at league. I'll join top at league, probably top on alphabetical.
Just trust Josh, right, to win this competition in the most depressing era of Barnsley Football Club.
Thing is, though,
I'll check, Josh.
All my correct answers have been wins, which is the most ironic part. I think we'll win 2-1.
Oh, he's going for special.
So
the worms turned out. Do you know, before, Al, when Joe did it, and it was us, he was the voice of doom and gloom. He weren't he? He was the voice. He was Sergeant Fraser. We doomed. We were the voice of reason and the voice of positivity. Now look what's happened. It's that microphone that's doing it.
I'm bringing balance.
Changing water from Yorkshire water to Lancashire water. It's the water what does it, Andy. I'm on solid water.
Don't talk about water companies at the minute, Al. That's full of it and all, Al. That's
right. Before we start going down water company's route of this show, which was the fourth item on the agenda of today, I think we'll wrap it up there. So
we need to highlight the secret meeting. That's not a secret because they put it on Twitter.
So in light of what has happened,
is it 4th of December?
Yes.
Hold on.
I'm so sorry. Someone's got audio turned up for that little bit then. Yes, there is a meeting on the 4th of December. I'm going to assume at 7 o'clock. I imagine.
Are you going, Craig?
I am not going. I'm sick of hearing the same old crap every time I went. Political answers, that's all you get. So all I want, right, and this is absolutely 100% genuine, I want everybody on Twitter who has a good club, I want them to go. I want them to go and put the questions forward. That's what I want. Because I want I'm sick of seeing people complaining about not getting the right answers. Right? So your lot go and your lot get your answers. That's what I want.
Right, let me get this right. So you're upsetting all the fans that have been negative and you're upsetting the whole club and all. You're just upsetting everybody, Craig.
It's how I feel inside. Okay?
Well, it's 7 p.m. on the 4th. Yes, the 4th of Monday, the 4th of December, with Nirav, Julian, and Neil Collins. No Khalid. No
Are you
Khalid.
are you going to represent us then, Al?
I am refusing to go on principle. As I said, when Stretch got kicked out, I am not going to anymore. So there you go. I'm standing by my principles. So
Are you
enjoy.
agreeing? Are you agreeing, Andy?
I'm not going on my own. I'll get slated. If I've got a pal to go with, I might go. But
I'll not be going because that's a big old trek on a Monday.
I'll have to give Jonathan a ring.
Actually, I could do because I could do. Yeah.
But if you are interested,
Can you film that one, Andy?
Pardon?
Can you film that one if Jonathan goes?
I'm not even going. Can't see me going now. I'm with Craig. Let people, that I'm with Craig in that some of the answers you get are not detailed answers, and it's all that I'm sorry that you're upset rather than I'm sorry what we've done. So I'm sorry.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
I just think get people there that want to ask questions. But the problem is, Craig, that people that me and you, I think, would like to go there to ask the questions that they want answers to. They'll not go because they'll say something very similar to you that we're not going to get. We're going to get politically correct answers, if you want to put it that way.
It's like watching Prime Minister's question time. You know, when the Prime Minister don't actually answer the question, but he just avoids and deflects. That's what it seems like to me. And I've been to every one so far, and I just can't do it anymore. I really no.
If you're interested in going though, as Al said, it's on the 4th of December at 7 o'clock. I'm assuming in
9 o'clock tomorrow. The tickets go on sale on club website, on tickets on box office.
So if you're interested, make sure you go and grab your tickets. And yeah, go and put your views across. And
I wonder how many people on Twitter come out and go, "Oh damn, I just missed it. Oh, they sold out before I could get one."
Get in first, get in first, so the happy clappers don't get all the tickets.
Oh, that's an excuse that goes all over Twitter. It's like, oh no, I missed it. All sold out. Damn. Yeah, you didn't try it all, mate.
Right. I think that's just about everyone was upset now. Twitter's got it, clubs got it, players have got it. So I think we'll probably wrap it up there then. So we'll be back on Sunday morning for a review of the Lincoln game. Hopefully a win. We'll see. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment your predictions down below, and we'll see you later.